It is about, oh, we're late. Okay, let's call this thing whatever we're doing here. Let's call our meeting and we'll have Lion Joe give the pledge for us, please.
All right. We have a flag waving. There's the flag.
Look at that. Look at that. The
Oh,
man's
right.
on the spot.
Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Lion Zenaida, will you give us the invocation, please?
Lord, in your mercy, receive the soul of Lion Handford Clews, who had died on February 1st, 2021. Ease his transition from this world into eternal life. May he find the light that guides his passage into your warm embrace. Eternal rest grant unto Handford Clews, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon him. Lord, bless this meeting of the Geneva-Excelsior Club and guide us to fulfill our mission to the community. Amen.
Amen.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we don't have a tail twister here. So the nearest guy that looks like a tail twister to me is Lion Steve. So Steve, why don't you run around the screen and tell everybody who everybody is here?
Okay. I won't start with myself. To my immediate right is Mr. Joe Lion Farah.
I'm Club Secretary Lion Joe Farah.
Very good.
Lion Denny Lohan, Vice President.
Good evening. Thank you. To my immediate left, Mr. Lyle Workman.
I got nothing to say. Go for it.
Treasurer, overall good guy. Immediate past president George Chalet in the lower right corner. How are you, George?
Everything's great.
Good. And our president, Bob, how are you? Mr. Bob Lahan.
And yourself.
And myself, Lion Stephen Martin. Pleasure to be here.
Good. Good to see you, brother. Okay. Secretary Joe, do we have any correspondence at this time?
We've got 2 letters that we received during the month. Letters of gratitude from both the Lion's Eye Foundation and the City of Hope.
Good. Okay. Now on committee reports, anybody have a committee? Oh, okay. Lion Lyle, how is the youth and community going? And there is Bill late. Okay, Bill, you owe us $10. You're late.
I know, I owe $1. I just finished an hour with an Italian organization, so I hope I can last the evening.
An hour with an Italian organization, that could be brutal.
I thought you were the godfather there.
Yeah. Well, they're all paying their respects tonight.
Kissing his ring, yeah. Getting back to the youth and community, this past month has been a little bit on the slow side. There were a couple of purchases by friends and family, a couple of new sponsorships, and some tickets sold to Lion Zenny. So there wasn't much movement. Now, if the raffle were to end right this very minute, we'd still have to get the prizes out. But we would make about $7,250 less a few expenses. So that's where we sit right now. We're in the green, so we're in the black, however you wish to put it. Right now, I'm just waiting for groups to get back to me. I sent a letter out to all the groups, and I'm guessing that no news is good news because I haven't heard back. I asked for any problems or anything so we can get them straight, but right now I don't know of any problems. So I think youth and community is all good.
Good. That's a good report. Now, do I assume there is no football report?
There's always a football report
Okay.
until the end, until the last game is played. I always got something to say.
Okay.
Okay. Game 19, which was the NFC Championship. Winners were Mick Demas, Ward Donnelly, Cindy Ryerson, Mark Ramazano, and Ward Donnelly III. So all the checks have been paid. There's only one game left, which is the Super Bowl this Sunday. And then after that, we'll be done with it. No more reports.
Good. Well,
Kansas City on top?
No, actually, they're playing in Tampa Bay, so Tampa Bay's on top. If you look at the sheet, it says home team is at the top.
Okay.
Or actually, I think NFC's at the top for the Super Bowl. NFC versus the AFC.
Right.
Kansas
City is favored by 3 points, and the over-under is 56.
Oh, really?
Yeah, high scoring.
Huh. Well, I guess we'll find out Sunday.
He checked in with the casino up the street. He's got the numbers.
I'm sure he did. But there have been a few questions about the playoff games. We had a few new players this year, so there's been a few questions along the way. But nothing I couldn't handle without pulling out a few hairs and stuff. Although, as you can see, it's getting a little thin.
Well, that happens at certain ages. Okay. Now, football. Okay.
Hey, there he is, Paul Corby.
All right.
Hey, just in time. Your student speaker is next, and there's the man with his hat on. He's walking around showing us everything. He's got his
You'll have to excuse me.
It must be cold in your neighborhood.
Well, I'm up at Lake Tahoe right now, and yes, it's about 25 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Well, take us out in the snow.
I'll bring you some.
You are working, aren't you, Paul?
I am.
He's on a case.
Well, actually, that's why I'm delayed. I was just on a long phone call with a client that has all this property in Thailand, and oh God, it's getting complicated. So they held me on the phone a little too long. But anyway, so I apologize for not being prompt at 6:30.
Not a problem, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
We're here. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Hey, George.
How's it going, Paul?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
Great.
Where are you walking through this place here? Where are you?
I'm at Tahoe. I belong to the Berkeley Ski Club, and we have a lodge up here. And I, with COVID and everything, and other people here, I went into the freezing garage so I'd have a little privacy.
Okay. Well,
Hence
keep
the
moving
hat.
so you don't freeze up.
Yes.
Now, can you give us an update on the student speakers?
Well, I'd be happy to. There's not, unfortunately, much to update right now. I haven't had any replies from anyone. So, invitations, I sent out about at least 12 invitations to 12 different schools. No response. So I'm trying to do some follow-ups, and particularly with the coach from Reardon has been the best at providing students for us. I've emailed him, no reply yet. So I'll continue to ramp up, and I've explained to that coach that apparently there aren't any other contests. Is that correct, Lyle or Bob's, that there aren't any other contests nearby?
Well, we attended a seminar or a Zoom meeting this past weekend, and there were close to 200 people in the Zoom meeting. And this was concerning student speakers trying to answer questions. And some clubs have an abundance of participants. Other clubs have just a couple or one, and some had none. So it was a mixture. And some clubs are not even having it because it has to be on Zoom or outdoors or whatever. But that doesn't mean we can't hold it if we get a participant. At the end of the meeting, they happened to mention that in terms of the students, it's a good year because there are going to be fewer participants from various places, which gives them overall a better chance. So there you have it. But that's where we lie.
And I would think that with the fact that these students are now very, shall we say, Zoom smart, and so they would know how to use it and not be afraid of using it to make their presentations with.
Yes, apparently from what I understand, a lot of the clubs were having trouble getting the word out that the contest was happening this year, and there were a few suggestions in that vein. Using social media, local newspapers, which is not a really good option for us because it's too late, really. And, a couple of other things that generally work in small communities, but not necessarily in larger communities like we were in. So.
Cool. Okay, so it's coming along. We're just waiting for a person or two to say, all right, let's do it. Okay, so we'll get an update on the next meeting, I suppose.
Yes. Well, still going to try and schedule perhaps a pre-planning meeting, at least one more.
Okay.
Particularly if there's going to be a student involved. I want to make sure we don't look like complete idiots. I mean, we're pretty close right now, but at least we're not complete.
Okay, well, sometimes we want to be complete and sometimes we don't.
Yes.
And let's welcome Lion Viella, who snuck in over the time. Still has her Christmas decorations up, and okay. Well, it was. Oh no, I don't want to. Okay. Yesterday was presentation, so you can take them down. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Anybody have any announcements about anything?
Yes. I don't know if you discussed about Handford passing away.
Yeah, we do know that, and I've asked when we get through at the meeting here, I've asked Lion Joe to say a few things, and if you would like to say something as well, Bill, that'll be great. But I want to hold our little tribute to
we did say a prayer for him in the invocation.
Yeah, the invocation, we said a prayer for him, and so we'll wait a minute. So now what do I have? Something. Oh, we're working on.
Let's ask Bill what was the outcome of his presentation at the Italian American Social Club. He was about to tell us that he proposed to them that they consider being a group in a YMCA fundraising.
They haven't met, so.
I can't hear you, Bill.
That group, they haven't met as far as I know. This is a different group. Different Italian club. It's a Geneva-Excelsior club. It's the good one. That's not people's.
The Geneva-Excelsior club, all right. And what happened there?
No, the Italian American club, they haven't been meeting as far as I know. So they haven't had any attendance or normally Normally, I would present it to them, but they're not meeting, so
Any idea when they will, Bill?
no, I don't. The club may be open. I haven't been by there, but the board itself, they've had one Zoom meeting, I think. I wasn't able to that. That was a couple months. That was in 2020. So, but when they meet again, I'll bring it up to them for the future.
Good. All right. Well, one of the things we have coming up in April, hopefully it'll be a visitation. Okay. And it may be the first meeting in April, or it may be the second one. But we'll see if we can get that worked out. And that's with the Park Presidio Sunset, where Sharon is tonight with the governor's visit. And so we have that kind of on the agenda. Also, for those of you who got this, I found an excellent and kind of scary article inside on Paradise and the fire and so forth. And
What a dumb time a group picked to create a spin-off club from the Paradise Club. I read the same article.
yeah, but at least the Lions were a little active up there and still around. So that's one nice thing that we do have. Okay. Anybody else have any announcements about life or? Okay.
Well, I have just a quick comment about the Student Speakers Club contest. Lyle, is it your understanding, as it is mine, that tellers and timers can be one and the same people this year due to the COVID unusual circumstances?
I'm in agreement with that.
I agree.
Okay. Do we want to, even though we don't have a speaker yet, do we want to try to assign or have volunteers to agree to take on those jobs? Is that something we want to try to do now, or put it off to the next meeting, an organizational meeting?
Well, we can try and elicit someone to volunteer. At this point, it would be a good thing. This way, the reason being is I can send them the forms and they can familiarize themselves with the forms.
Yes.
And then we can try and have a meeting and discuss the forms so that they understand what they're doing.
That would be great.
Okay.
Because there's instructions usually on the back of the forms have instructions.
Yes.
Do we want to ask for volunteers right now as to who would want to be a teller or a timer?
I don't have a problem with that. Go for it.
Anybody want to volunteer? Hold your hand up like we did in school.
Well, Lyle, last year or so, I helped out I forgot whether I was a teller or a judge. I think I was the one counting the votes with you, and you were helping me how to go about it. I don't mind doing it again if I can revisit on how to go about it. I don't mind volunteering to be a teller again.
That's great. We need 3 tellers and 3 timers.
Actually, we can do with 2 of each, and they could be the same person.
As the teller and
timer.
Teller and timer, yeah. All in one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as Lila and I go about the process.
Well, unfortunately, Zenaida, the fact is the night of the meeting itself.
Yeah.
Those people who are tellers, timers, and judges will be put in a separate Zoom meeting, and I will not be there. Paul will be in charge of that meeting. And although he can probably offer some help, you really have to be astute and pay attention, to be very honest with you.
Yeah.
You can't really, you'll have the form well in advance if you want to do it, and you have to familiarize yourself with it. it's pretty simple stuff, really, to be very honest with you.
Okay.
You just have to pay attention. That's really important.
I volunteer for either or both, whatever is needed. Teller or
That's great.
timer.
I believe, Lyle, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think we would need three volunteers. They can, like you said, they can be sharing the same job. They can be teller and timer, but don't we need 3 volunteers from our club?
I do not know. You have the rules. I have never seen the rule booklet.
Okay.
You'll have
It's
to
my
check on
understanding for the many years, it's always been 3. So let's stick with that.
There's 3. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And Lyle, you're not able to make it that meeting?
well, I will be here. Okay. But when we set up the breakout meeting for the judges, the tellers, and the timers, I can only be in one place at a time. And I feel I need to be in the regular meeting so that when you send me a text that you're finished and ready, I can pull you back into the regular meeting.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
You know, you'll as the chairman, you'll be in charge of the other meeting.
Okay.
Okay. You know, as I say, and unfortunately, I cannot move back and forth between them. I can only be in one or the other.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I understand. I'll probably the same for me, Lyle. I'll need to be engaged in the same general meeting, and the tellers will have to be on top of it. The timers, it's a pretty easy job. You're just, keeping track of the time of that the speaker doesn't go over the allotted time. It's a little more complicated this year because typically we like to make sure that the student does not have access to a clock. They're supposed to just know and be prepared with the length of time on their speech. This year, we don't have any way to monitor the student, whether they're, watching a clock or not, but I'm not that worried about it. But the teller's job, as Lyle said, it's simple, it's straightforward. The instructions are on the back, but you really need to be prepared in advance. You don't want to be reading those rules the night of. So sounds like we have 2 volunteers. Is there a third?
Well,
Lion Steve, did you want to
volunteer?
oh, there's George and Steve.
So we got 3 or 4. We're ahead of the game.
Okay. Who said yes? I'll do it. Steve? George?
We have a tie between George and Steve.
Then I'll get out of it.
Okay. What I'll do is I will email the documents to you. I would recommend that you, if you're not good at reading on the screen, print it out. The timer sheet is 1 page, one side. It's super simple. You enter how much time they used. The teller is a little bit more complicated. It's 2 sheets, so just print them out and read them and have them in front of you so you completely understand it. And then we'll have at least 1 pre-planning meeting beforehand so we can go over any questions that you have. Fair enough?
Fair.
Oh, that's great. If I could suggest that when you're sending the forms out, send out both the teller and the timer instruction forms. And, it sounds like we have 4 people interested in doing it. I would send it to all 4. Someone may get sick that night, or, it's better to have more than less.
Excellent. I agree with you.
Okay, good. All right, if we have no other discussions, we can adjourn this part of the meeting and move on to the other.
Have we said all we're going to say about Handford?
I was going to let
The end.
when we get to the end and let Joe. Let's get through the finance stuff, and then we'll let Joe and Bill and each of us say our little thoughts about Handford.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I want to move on to the business meeting now. Or whatever we got. The board meeting. I knew it had to be in there someplace. Okay. We don't have to do these endorsements. Okay. Let us move on to the Geneva-Excelsior Lions Board meeting agenda. And Lion Joe, would you please call roll and see who's
Yes,
here?
yes. Soleil,
Here.
Ara, Workman,
Present.
Graziano,
Here.
Finesh, Steve Martin,
Here.
Sharon Eberhard, Zenaida,
Here.
Robert Lahan,
Here.
Viella DuPont,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Good. Do we have the minutes of the previous board meeting?
Lyle reported the club had received 2 new sponsorships. And Bill Graziano stated he will ask the Italian American Social Club if they want to participate as a fundraising group. And that was the extent of the business at the last board meeting.
Good. So do we have a motion to approve the meeting, the minute?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Good, okay. And we all accept that motion, I assume.
Second.
Okay. So the motion to approve the minutes has been passed. Okay. And now we go to the numbers. Let's go to the treasurer's report and see what he has to say about life.
What do I have to say about life? Throw the anchors out, will you? It's going too fast.
Sure is.
Anyway, these are the numbers and just the numbers. Don't think I need to go any further on any of that, unless anybody has any questions.
We're going to buy some GameStop shares with that surplus.
It's too late for that, Joe.
It's too late. You're a week late.
It's way too late. The wave has crashed and is falling apart. It fell by, I think, 60% in the last 2 days, and it's going to go further. From what I understand, the Reddit stock traders are now pursuing silver. Now, I don't know if that's physical silver or if it's silver shares. I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Good question.
Ask the Hunt brothers.
Yeah, well, call somebody. I don't know who.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my report. I sent all the various pages to everybody. There were, umpteen pages of all kinds of mumbo jumbo and everything else.
Have them all.
A question for you on financials. We have essentially 2 activities accounts, a Wells Fargo account and a PayPal account, and 2 administration funds, Wells Fargo and PayPal. Do the members want me to, as much as I can, keep the PayPal account balance at 0 and transfer the funds into our other 2 accounts? Or do you care if it's in different accounts? Or does anybody have any? Huh?
I think you should transfer the funds.
Keep it simple. Put it into one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do we have PayPal? For what?
So I can pay my dues.
Well,
So-
yeah, that's where the dues and
Is that what's linked to our website?
donations.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Mm,
Those payments that are accepted through our website.
Go to PayPal.
And well, we actually have one more account, which I do keep it at a 0 account. That's our Venmo account.
Mhm.
people pay dues or, buy tickets or however, but I transfer the funds the same day into our Wells Fargo account.
Yeah.
I've just let the PayPal balance run up, and it's just like another bank account. It doesn't matter
It's up to you
as
then.
far as I'm concerned. I just don't want everybody to be confused because we have more than one account for one.
Is there a cost to the PayPal account?
Not to maintain the account, no. The only time it costs us money is when somebody pays via PayPal, and then it costs us approximately 3%.
Okay. Well, I would try to get them into one account.
Okay. Anybody else have comments about that?
Do any of the other banks pay any interest on our balances?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think banks are paying 0.0000005% now. I think, in about 20 years, we'll make about a penny.
The days of banking, and I've been through that with one of my accounts, is how come I'm being charged? Well, you don't spend enough, charge enough, all this sort of stuff that I got to do.
Service charge.
Yeah, the service charge.
Account analysis charge. That's what I'm getting. Account
analysis. Oh, that's a good word. I like that.
Yes.
The computer does that, nobody else.
Yeah.
I think we just.
Anyway, that's two people that have an opinion in terms of transfer all the funds into one account. I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this?
Any other
pages, numbered questions, suggestions, etc.?
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report. I'm not going to ask for an audit because I listened to a bunch of Italians. I'm tired, so I'll let it slide this time, Lyle.
Hey, what's the matter for you?
Yeah.
I'm
gonna make you a deal you can't refuse.
I have to tell you, this is a different group. The Italian American Club. I would have been on my fourth glass of wine and probably 2 drinks before that. You would have got anything I would have turned in tonight. They were a little bit more Italian.
Well,
outside of the old Italians, do we have any old business we need to take care of?
Well, next meeting, are you going to announce that it's the past president's night and election nomination of officers?
At this meeting?
Next meeting.
Oh, next meeting. Okay, well, we'll just move on, okay, and keep moving. Keep a couple of steps out there. Okay. Secretary Joe, any bills to be paid?
I don't have any.
Lyle, do we have any?
I pay the bills as they come in. The only bills that have been coming in are dues from MD4 and International, and they are paid automatically. Well, they're paid right away. They're not paid automatically, but they're paid right away.
All right, good. All right. With that, Mr. Graziano, would you make a motion?
No, not so fast. Not so fast.
What? You got something else you want to say?
Yes. It is customary in the past that when a current member passes, we make a donation to either the Lion's Eye Foundation, or it used to be the Ear of the Lion.
Very well said.
And so forth. But or we can do to Lions International Foundation in honor of Lion Handford. Does anyone have a suggestion or a motion or anything along those lines that we can take care of?
Foundation, I would say. Yeah, the amount, I'm not sure.
Does it always have to be donated to the Lions? Or could it be donated to the family of the deceased? It has to be with the Lions.
Well, as of this meeting, no wishes have been expressed by Margot in terms of a preference. If we were to do something There are times when there's a delay between the time we find out someone has passed and a meeting where we discuss it, and they make their wishes known.
Yeah.
As of right now, I do not believe there's anything like that right now.
Well, I agree with Zenaida that we should wait and see what the Clews family wants to donate to.
Yeah.
And,
What do you think about that, Joe? Waiting until we hear from the family.
Joe Farrell.
Well,
in case there's a notice published, it would be with the newspaper notice, obituary.
Okay.
Wait till the obit is published. Okay.
All right. No worries.
All right. We'll get that then at the next meeting or so. We'll make decisions.
In the meantime, we should send a card or something from the Lions Club.
No, I like that. Okay. Is there a card that we send that's got a lion crest on it, or is this one what we can make up?
We go to the store, we buy one, and we send it.
Okay, Zenaida has her own supply, don't you, Zenaida? Okay.
No, but it's religious sponsored rather
than fine. Okay. That's what those cards are for. All right. And so I think we can kind of maybe individually each handle the card, and then when they know what their desires are, then we can do something as a club.
Okay, I agree with that.
Lions.
I wanted to get it out there.
Okay, well it's there, and we've discussed it. All right, any other things we need to discuss here at the board meeting before we adjourn?
No, we're not adjourning yet, Bob. Well, you adjourned the meeting, the board, but I think before we all adjourn the meeting, we have to say something about.
Well, I just want to adjourn the board meeting, and then we'll move to.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
To Lion Joe and let him begin some of his thoughts about Handford. So we're going to adjourn the board meeting, and now, if we can, Lion Joe, you knew Handford probably longer than anybody else. What can you tell us about him?
Okay, it's a privilege to be able to talk about Handford. I got to know him when we were fellow merchants, and we were known as the Excelsior Businessmen's Association. And well, I'm going to go back. I'm going to start earlier than that. Handford was born in 1935. And he's a junior. His father was also a Handford. And at that time, he was living in the Excelsior district at 753 Vienna Street. And he went to grammar school, either Epiphany or one of the local public schools. But as Handford himself told me, he was a problem child in grammar school. And his father wanted a little more discipline for high school. So the father sent him to St. James Boys High School down in the Mission District. That was a small, long-established high school. And he did his freshman year there. And then the school closed, St. James School. And all of their students automatically were transferred to Reardon High School. So Handford went on to Reardon High School, finished his other 3 years at Reardon. Then he went from there to UC Berkeley. He was at UC Berkeley from 1952 to 1959. And he got a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering. Chances are, I'm surmising, that he got a job with Arc Electric and then met Margot. I don't think it was the other way around. I don't think he met Margot and then found himself into the electrical business. So he became the chief financial officer for Arc Electric. Plus, he was the overall manager of that large store they had on Mission Street. And that store was an active store and prosperous. Going back to the 60s and 70s, we had a lot of independent contractors like the Grazianos who would find a lot or two lots and build spec houses on them all around San Francisco and maybe Daly City and Pacifica and Brisbane. And these contractors would go to Arc Electric for their light fixtures. Then that business dried up and business slowed down. That activity of the contracting dried up and business slowed down. And to try to give the store a boost, they added a hardware department to the store on a mezzanine level. And it had like a small hardware store, hoping that would bring in foot traffic to support the store. That didn't work. So they had to close the store. Going back to Handford's earlier days, he had an older sister, Dorothy, and she happened to be a classmate of mine at Balboa. And then he had a younger brother, Richard, who also went to Balboa. Dorothy worked at Bank of America at the Excelsior branch. They're both gone now. But while Handford was growing up, he had a grandmother living with him. And the Clews family has a French background to it. Goes back to France. And I suspect that Handford conversed in French with at least his grandmother and possibly other family members. So he became pretty fluent in French. I concluded that he would be a great addition to our Lions Club. But before I had a chance to invite him to a meeting, Frank Ferreira invited him to a meeting. So he came as a guest of Frank's. And then I subsequently invited him to a meeting. And then I also invited him to become a member of the club. And he agreed. And Frank Ferreira got angry because I was going to be Handford's sponsor. And Frank says, I'm the first one that brought him to the club. I said, yes, but I asked him to become a member of the club. But to keep harmony in the club, I yielded to Frank. So technically speaking, Frank Ferreira was Handford's sponsor in the club. And Handford was a great guy. He was secretary for many years. And then he became treasurer. He was, I don't know how many years he was treasurer of the club.
30 years.
30 years, I'm not surprised. And I want to mention, he's got one daughter, Susie, and one grandson. And the grandson became a CPA. And we tried to recruit him, but we didn't have any luck. But he apparently inherited some of these traits from his grandfather. Now, Handford was president in the year 82, 83. And I invite all of you to do a Handford Clews search on Google. And be sure to put the D in Handford.
Mm-hmm.
More often than not, people leave out the D in his name, and he goes along, he went along with it. He didn't let it bother him. But for something like this, you've got to have it correct. So if you do a Google search of Handford Clews, on the page that comes up is his scrapbook for his year as club president. And there's some great photos in there, in that scrapbook. So it's very easy to bring up and it's warm to see the people at his installation of officers banquet and a convention and what have you. So that we'll each do on our own. So he loved golf. I guess most of you know that. And it really hurt him when he couldn't even take a cart and to play golf. He gave up golf about 7 or 8 years ago, and he was a good golfer. In fact, my wife and I, we accompanied him and the other club members on golfing trips. We took a trip to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We went to New Orleans. We went to Las Vegas together. Great company, real good company. Wherever we went, we enjoyed their company. We went on a couple of cruises, one cruise to Alaska, another cruise to Acapulco and back. They love to travel, Handford and Margot. I don't know how many cruises they took and talk tours. And Margot would always get plates for her plate collection. Those of you who have been to her residences have seen her walls, plates all around the walls, the souvenirs of where she's visited. Now, besides golf, Handford liked skill games. He liked Pedro, poker, and crossword puzzles. He'd be sitting down at a poker table, and if the action wasn't moving quickly enough, he'd get back to his crossword puzzle, and he was good at it. And they were great hosts and hostesses, Handford and Margot. They loved giving holiday dinner parties for family and friends. Very often it would be at the Sharp Park banquet room or places like that. And very generous. He built a house, had a house built in Redwood City for his daughter and son-in-law. And then when the house was completed, he had a big party down there. After the hors d'oeuvres and drinks, he had a food truck parked out in front. And the guests were told to go to the food truck and order what you want to eat and come back and enjoy. They just loved hosting and having their friends and family close by them. He's just a straight shooter, just a great guy. Not much more I can say. You all know him, so I don't have to tell you that much about him, but he's going to be missed. May he rest in peace.
Amen.
Amen.
How did you learn all this, Joe?
I did a little research.
Okay, just wondering.
While I would think on our Facebook that you have a lot of pictures in there in the 70s and 80s with Handford.
Well, I've got a lot of pictures with Handford, period. Out of the, I'm guessing there's close to 4,000 images on our website. Probably I want to say a third, but maybe a quarter to 1/3 have Handford in it, someplace. I'm going to share my screen real quick. I'll give you a preview of some photos that are going to be in the next club bulletin. These are pictures that I've already put together. I've already started laying the next bulletin out. And these are pictures that will be in the bulletin. This one is from 1977. The first convention that Handford went to, because he joined in January of 1977. Here he is in a costume, as Romans. Actually, the costume was from when 1961 is when the costume was actually used by the club. Here he is in the 1979-80 year at Pat and Frank Ferreira's. I'm just going to go through these real quick. You'll see them all in the bulletin. Here he is in 1980 at the convention with Al, Mike Spediacci, Sam Sanfilippo, and Al Fragosi. Here's a picture of Handford and Margot at his installation in July of 1982. These are all in chronological order. Here he is in 1983 at a pre-convention meeting where they were practicing for the convention. He loved to lead music and sing. He really liked it a lot. He was in May of 1985 at a convention up in Santa Rosa, once again with Howard Pearson and Les Duran. Bill Graziano knows these guys. They were having a good time there. Here he is again in May of '86, the Barbershop Quartet. Our club never could count to 4. It always had to be 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the Barbershop Quartet. But irregardless, same group of guys for the most part. Sam Sanfilippo, Mike Castanetto, Mike Spediacci, Handford Clews, Art Hall, and Charlie Barberini. Here he is in May of '91 at the convention golf tournament up in the Santa Rosa area. Here he is in May of '95, right here on the far left. Once again, that was a year where we displayed a bunch of different costumes that were used. Here he is December of 2004 at the club Christmas party at the Restaurant Del Mar. Here he is at the Crab Feed 2008. He's getting ready for everybody to show up in the tickets. Here he is not a lot of people know this, but he actually sponsored 10 people into the Lions Club. And here he is with the last member that he sponsored, Margine Sacco, in 2012. This is Eugene Chan. And here he is. The last crab feed he was able to make was February of 2017. And he's getting the ticket information ready to sign people in, along with VLO and Margot. And this is a certificate we gave him for his 40th anniversary in the club in 2017. Unfortunately, he was not able to make that particular meeting. I'm going to switch over here real quick. This is our Lions Club website. This particular page is from 1982-83. This has all the photos which are in Lions, in Handford's scrapbook. They're condensed here, and all the rest of the information is kind of taken out. But they're all dated in order. They've all been retouched. If you click on them, you can blow them up, make them bigger. There's I'm not going to explain to every single one because there's a lot of photos. This particular page has a lot of photos. These are general photos. These are cabinet and club officers. I just looked through this a few minutes ago when I opened this page up. There's only one person left, and that's Al Gentili, is the only surviving member of his cabinet and club officers. Unfortunately, there's a lot of really good members there. His installation of officers, the cabinet installation that he attended, the men's barbecue when there was a men's barbecue, Many of you have no idea what we're talking about, but these are events that we used to have every year. The student speaker contest.
Barbecue followed the golf tournament.
Well,
Yeah.
that at first it was just the barbecue, Joe. The golf tournament was tied in with the barbecue later on.
Mhm.
But at first it was just the men's only barbecue. And these are all pictures from the district convention in Santa Rosa. And they're all available by going to About Us and then Club Photos and History, and then just choose the year. That would happen to be 82, 83. And here you can also see presidential scrapbooks all over this page, but I won't go through it. These are all the pages out of his scrapbook in their entirety. You know, you can open it up and you can read the various letters that people sent us during the year. But anyway, I'm not going to take up anybody, more time. So many things to see and so many things to do. But those are the things that will be in the next, or those images are the ones that will be in the next bulletin, along with all the headings.
Good job, Lyle. Very good.
Not really, a lot of patience.
Also,
Tyler.
there'll be kind of a few paragraphs on what he did while he was in our club, in terms of all the things he did. I happen to mention that he did actually bring in 10 members of the club. Some of you know some of the names. Some of you will not recognize any of them. He sponsored Jerome Ennis, Ed Morey, John Madden, Howard Pearson, Dick Johnson, Les Duran, Larry Farrell, Ted Wildenrant, Sharir Arani, and Margine Sacco. Those are the 10 people that he sponsored into the club. And probably among those, the best one was probably Dick Johnson, who was a very good member as well.
Mm-hmm.
Many of you know him.
Yeah.
On that subject, Lyle.
Yes.
Handford used to tell the story that he invited Dick Johnson to come to the club, become a member of the club. And Johnson said, when you become president of the club, then I'll join the club.
Right.
And Johnson assumed that would be a long time off. And Handford called him on that pledge when he became president.
I love it. Yeah. And another unusual fact is that during his year as president, 5 new members were installed as new lines during his year. And I'm guessing that's probably the most of any president, but I can't say that for sure.
The most during a presidential year, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't sponsor each and every one of them. Don't get me wrong. There were others, but 5 new members came in his year, which is quite a few, actually.
Great.
So Handford was a great guy.
I remember one funny thing with Handford.
Christmas song.
During Christmas time, we would sing. He hands out all the music pieces.
Song sheets.
And we will all sing in different tones and tunes, and he gets so upset with us because we couldn't sing properly. And that was so funny for us at that time.
True, yeah. Okay.
Bill?
I knew Handford from the contractor. Lyle, every once in a while, questions my computer skills, but I have to tell you the story of that. Handford was the secretary and treasurer of the Contractors Club. And when he resigned the post, it fell onto me. So he said, they gave me a computer, and Handford said, oh, I'll program it for you and get it all. So basically I have to just fill in the blanks. So after about the 4th trip, he said, aren't you ever going to get that? He didn't have a lot of patience. But I will tell you, that's why I don't do email there a lot. So we blame Handford. But Handford and Margot are very, as we have been saying, very generous people. They are so nice. And I just think that Handford left his mark on the Lions Club and any place else that he was. He left his mark.
We will miss him. We actually have missed him because he couldn't make the meetings, but we will miss him more than ever.
Okay, folks, we appreciate everybody coming to the meeting tonight and getting some things done and talking about Handford and so forth. Anybody have any parting remarks before we go off into the moonset?
Those 4 members that volunteered, the forms have already been mailed.
Thank you.
I replied, thank you, Lyle. And
I saw that.